A long time ago, on a comics page far, far away. Greetings and welcome to May the Panel Be With You, the Star Wars comic book show brought to you by the Punch Up Entertainment Network. I am your humble host, Mike Gargoni, and joining me, as always, the IG-88 to my weird orange Bosk, it's John Campbell.
Yeah, you didn't tell me this was an alternate reality episode where we meet Bizarro Bosk.
Hey, strap in for Bizarro Bosk, because he's all over this issue.
Yes,
he's
hello,
like Jabba
everybody.
the Hutt with one T.
He sure is. I just like these different comic book versions of these characters we know and love. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy, indeed. Because, yes, today we are talking about issue number 72 of the original Marvel Star Wars comic. This issue was released in June of 1983. We are beyond Return of the Jedi now, and this comic will not acknowledge that fact for at least 8 more issues.
God, no. No.
But we are firmly in the back half of this comic because basically from here until the end of the series, we are going to have Joe Duffy as our main writer. We'll have an issue here or there with fill-in creative teams, but
Right.
Mary Jo Duffy is going to be our lead creative on this book until the end of the series, basically.
Wow, that's crazy. Once again, Mary Jo Duffy, certainly a name, once again, that should be familiar to if you're, a serious Marvel fan. She's somebody who was a huge force at that company. More so as an editor, sort of like a Denny O'Neil in that way. She edited, it's interesting, I was just reading, it's so funny that we're doing this, because I was just reading through the Frank Miller Elektra omnibus, and she was the editor on that.
And she also wrote some of the Daredevil of the early 80s, right?
Yes. Yeah. So she's in that collective hey, if it's not Frank Miller, what are we doing? But she was the one that basically talked him into, from the sound of it, bringing Elektra back. So
Very cool.
That's a huge important. Yeah. So anyway, she's certainly a legendary comics creator.
And honestly, I think her authorial voice is already coming through pretty strongly in this book. And this is kind of the end of her first arc that sort of solidifies her as the writer of this book going forward. But we do have another creative team on top of that. We've got Rob Friends on pencils, Tom Palmer on inks, Stan Goldberg on our colors, Joe Rosen on our letters, and we have, of course, our usual editors, editor-in-chief of the late now, Jim Shooter.
As of the recording of this is the first time we've recorded since the world lost one Jim Shooter.
Yeah, and of course, another editor who then becomes very prolific writer, we have Louise Jones, who would eventually be Louise Simonson.
Yeah, and look, if you're a fan of the X-Men universe or the Superman universe, she's a huge part of both of those. So
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, and by the way, I would just say, of course, sorry to hear about the loss of Jim Shooter. I take back nothing I've said. I'm sad he's gone, but criticisms still stand.
Yeah, look, when certain folks pass, you can acknowledge both the largesse of their lives and the accomplishments they did, but also recognize that some people are the villains of history.
No, it's an interesting thing because I've seen a lot of the things now. There's definitely a rose-colored glasses now that he's gone, and I'm like, wait a minute. I've heard a horrible thing about him. Somebody go like, "Oh, Jim was the best." You're like, was he? And I get it. That happens all the time. I feel like every time a president dies, all of a sudden their presidency is remembered as Gerald Ford was actually pretty good. And you're like, was he? Really?
Yeah, look, we can all admit that lying his way onto writing Legion of Superheroes at the age of 14 was an impressive feat for Mr. Jim Shooter, while also acknowledging that he bullied the heck out of the Marvel editorial offices in the early to mid-'80s.
Absolutely. I am still endlessly fascinated by the man, and someday I will make my Shooter documentary.
Hey, now's the time. Strike while the iron's hot, John.
I know, yeah. You know what? I bet I could crowdfund that pretty fast now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, let's talk about this issue of which we really have no idea how involved he ever was in the Star Wars comic.
Oh, I mean, let's be realistic. Probably not much at all.
No, I mean, he's in charge of the whole company at this point, and he's crafting the work that will be Secret Wars.
The comic that dared ask, what two words can we jam together that are very popular among comic book readers? The word secret and the word wars.
Yeah, talk about a thing that he unknowingly sicked upon the comics industry is the crossover event, right?
I mean, it wasn't the first crossover event, but it definitely
function like that, or at least the first that had that roadmap that everyone has been trying to achieve to greater or less success going forward.
But let's get into the cover of this issue because speaking about first steps, we've got our cover that we kind of hinted at last week, which is Luke and Lando at the top of the carbonite freezing pit, both of them saying, "You first."
Yeah, it's a scene that doesn't happen in the comic, spoiler. But it's a pretty fun design, I gotta say. I like that we're looking up from the bottom of the carbonite, chamber.
Totally.
And yeah, we get our look at our weird orange-colored Bosk.
This is our first look at Bizarro Bosk, and we've seen Bizarro Bosk in a little bits and bobs here and there in previous issues, especially when we had our mistaken identity Bosk last issue.
Yeah, because one of the things I was saying is that doesn't look like Bosk, but actually now that we see what Bosk does look like, that Bosk did look like this Bosk.
We keep saying Bosk, and it's going to start losing meaning. But anyway...
Yeah, it's going to have that thing where, you keep saying the same word and it starts to sound weird.
Yeah, but Bosk is orange in this book.
Yeah, I can't accept it. I know Bosk. I love Bosk. This, sir, is no Bosk.
If we look at Bosk in stills from Empire Strikes Back or later iterations from Clone Wars or what have you, obviously all this book has to go on is Empire Strikes Back. So let's just use stills from that. John, bring up a picture for yourself and viewers at home, listeners at home. Bring up a still of Bosk. I'm going to say the best color I can use my words to describe, because this is a non-visual medium, unless you're with us on YouTube. But I'm going to say olive green is Bosk's color.
I was going to say kind of a dirty green or a brownish green would be the close, but not anything close to this color.
Orange. Yeah,
full on orange.
Yeah. On the cover is more of a ripe lemon, but in the book proper, it's very, very orange.
Well, I gotta say that the color on this cover is all over the place. The wild orange of Lando's outfit is also not present in the comic.
Yeah, and Luke and Lando suffering from a bad case of vitiligo on this.
Yeah,
but I don't know if this is just a digital scan problem, so who knows.
You are always quick to blame that, or you're always quick to give them that out, I should say. And I'm quick to just be like, how dare you?
I am, because I've read digital versions of comics and then also owned physical versions in which the color differences can be huge and dramatic.
For sure. It can happen. I will say there isn't, regardless of just reading through this, there is definitely a choice to lean Bosk more orangey, even in probably the original print version.
Maybe. Because, let's get into this. I will say, as opposed to previous issues, this particular issue, not super plagued with the recaps of previously on Star Wars.
Well, yeah, what I like, though, is it does still have this, when we open the page, I do like this first full-page panel here of Luke and Lando. Luke with his mysterious white lightsaber. That once again, you shouldn't have any lightsaber, let alone a white one. But
coloring issues abound in this issue.
Oh, just constantly. But I like them sort of crouched down in fighting poses, as Lando says it. Bosk and IG-88. It's not a recap, but I do it's a very old adventure serial thing. This person and this person together.
And the rejoinder from Bosk being and everyone knows you two, Luke Skywalker and Lando Calrissian.
I love people just stating each other's names to each other. Yeah. And then this whole thing about oh yeah, we laid this trap. We knew you'd be looking for your friend who's in carbonite, so we put a different guy in carbonite to fool you.
Bosk is really on top of things here.
Yeah, this is a mastermind Bosk I'm not used to.
Okay. What Bosk are you used to, John?
Well, I mean, let me say, yeah, that's a good question, right? But I'm used to just lizard bounty hunter guy who's mostly with other bounty hunters, right?
Whose main contribution to the franchise is blah.
Yeah. I mean, I have read novels and comics that have given him a little bit more to go on, but not much more. This is a big jump.
Sure. I will say I've gone deep enough that, like, my Bosk is this prideful bounty hunter who's never willing to admit he's wrong, and this sort of fits with that same characterization. And obviously, this predates a lot of that other stuff.
Oh, of course.
But this is a Bosk who has schemes.
I can't fault this too much because there is nothing for them to go on.
Sure. What they have to go on right now is blah.
Yeah, there's a lizard bounty hunter. The other thing that's missing here, of course, and they don't know that, is something that firmly is established in comics later, is the lizard speak for Bosk with the...
Yeah. So later on, Trandoshans will have this pronounced lisp of, like, hyper extending all their S's, which isn't here.
Yeah, yes. It's a very comic book idea to begin with. But anyway, I also like, they keep using carbonite steel.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that comes from.
Yeah, because they never say that in the movie. Yeah.
To be fair, I have not read the Empire Strikes Back novelization, so that might be a thing from there.
Be in there, and of course, we always talk about they're pulling from whatever documents Lucasfilm gave them. Right. They were given a glossary of stuff, so maybe that did say carbonite steel. I mean, it doesn't feel out of place. I'm just not used to it being said. I mean, I guess that's a fine description. They're frozen in steel is kind of a cool idea, actually. But sure. I did read a thing that somebody posted on Reddit that was just, hey, what did George think of the books and comics? And somebody had just pulled all of Lucas's comments about all this stuff. And basically, it was what we've always talked about, of just like, I don't pay attention to any of that.
Yeah, of course not.
I just asked that they try to keep it consistent. That was his big thing. As long there's like I mean, obviously this comic isn't thinking. I think he's talking more about the EU books of the 80s into the 90s. But like, his big thing was please don't kill any major characters and keep it consistent. And his big mandate was don't talk too much about the Clone Wars because I still want to make those movies, right?
Yeah, fair enough. And to the comic book creators' credits, like, the Clone Wars really doesn't come up right up until Episode 2, in which case we had this explosion of Clone Wars content.
Yeah, apparently he did get pissed at Zahn for hinting at some stuff in his books.
Oh, well, look, there's a long history of Zahn, like, basically going right up to the edge of what can I get away with to write a good story.
There was apparently he did what? That's wrong. Wrong. Anyway,
so
I just thought
I will say this, according to Wikipedia, our vast source.
According to Bosk.com.
Carbonite specifically is never referred to as carbonite steel outside of these comics. It is mostly a metallic alloy made from, carbon.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, I didn't think of it as steel. That's the thing that kept getting... But, yeah.
Anyway. We also have Orange Bosk here. Bosk is orange. He's straight up orange on this page.
Yeah, he's just orange as the day is long, folks. Anyway, so they've got Luke and Lando trapped. Bosk and IG-88's plan has worked, and also they'll do this later. I'll talk about it later too. But this idea that like they called for reinforcement. Who are these people with them?
Random bounty hunters, because we see on this next page that Luke and Lando surrounded by gun barrels of so many mercenaries.
So many mercenaries, but what's this?
Also, I love Lando on this next page as he's just constantly confounded by all these new characters showing up. It's one of my favorite runners in this issue is Lando going, "Who are you? Who is this? What's going on?"
I gotta say, there's a lot of sitcom-y reactions in this issue, particularly. There's a lot of, huh? And what?
I mean, Joe Duffy, like, if you've read Power Man and Iron Fist, there's a
Oh, yeah.
lot of that in her stuff.
And you're talking to somebody who owns all the volumes of the Epic collection of those.
Yeah.
I love me some 70s Power Man and Iron Fist, which is basically the odd couple with superpowers.
Yeah. And so, like, some of that energy is definitely bleeding through here because Lando, who has got his back to, lest we forget, our good old Rhodian friend Cheeto is frozen in carbonite here.
Not Cheeto, and the two people who... I also just love the presentation of Rick Duel and Danny, which Luke, of course, shouts, Rick Duel and Danny!
Hey.
Anyway, them just appearing from behind the carbonite out of nowhere is very funny to me, too.
Absolutely.
That's so fast.
So yeah, our good old friends, Rick Duel, who is your knockoffs Han Solo.
Yeah,
and
do you wish
Danny...
Han Solo had... Oh yeah, Danny, the red Orion. Let's be honest.
She's got weird, sexy pheromone things going on, and she's got the hots for Luke. That's all we need to know.
Yeah, defined by her horniness is...
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. And boy, is this issue just jam-packed. She's even hornier now.
And she uses her horny powers for good later on, but yes.
I do like, and once again, there's so much of this where they're like, what are you doing here? And very quickly, mid-gunfight, people have to be like, you're lucky for you. We followed you from the thing, knowing you were going to pew, 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 you know.
It's one of those things we constantly point out, and it's something you just have to accept in comic books, is the amount of dialogue being expressed in a panel cannot match the pace of the action being presented in those panels, and so you sort of just have to accept it.
It's definitely something in older comics. I feel like there's less dialogue mid-action today. There's still some of that suspension of disbelief, but I feel like more modern writers feel more comfortable just letting action play out a little bit more now.
They can, and there's some of that in this issue too.
There is actually. I was
greater
surprised
or lesser extent.
When they get to the Chewbacca stuff, I was surprised at how much they held back on the writing.
Yeah. I mean,
anyway,
Mary Jo Duffy, not known for the like same purple prose as your like Claremonts.
No. There's a lot of just sweet Christmas and punching in Power Man and Iron Fist, which is something I appreciate. Anyway, but yeah, and of course, Danny is here to save her friend, but also nobody's going to touch that cute boy, Luke Skywalker.
Again, just right up to the edge of being creepy.
It really is, because I think it's pretty clear the feeling is not mutual, Danny.
Yeah. Anyway, so Lando with a sick G.I. Joe gun now is going to open up.
Yeah, there's some this is all very G.I. Joe looking action.
Yeah. So we've got some gun battles going around. We've got some blasters going off. We established that it is Cheeto in this block of carbonite, and then we have Luke doing a slick Jedi flip over Bosk, and then shattering his gun with a lightsaber.
I like Bosk saying, "Who taught you to jump like that?"
The same person who gave me this. So I guess Yoda?
Yeah, who gave him the lightsaber? That's a good question.
Maybe Yoda just had a spare, and like in between issues, he went back to Dagobah real quick and was like, "Hey, Yoda, I lost my lightsaber. Do you got a spare for me?"
Didn't we see in one of those Infinities comics that he did have just a box of lightsabers?
That's true. So, hey, okay, this is how we know prize why Luke has this lightsaber in all of these issues, is he picked up one of Yoda's spares.
Box of junk I have somewhere.
Up in the attic I keep these. Collecting dust they are.
I just like the idea of him milling about through his belongings going, "No, it is somewhere I do." Anyway.
Beneath old issues of Nintendo Power they were.
Huge gamer Yoda is. Still have Power Glove, I do. I do like the Vorp and impressive lightsaber work that Luke was able to just shatter the blaster in his hand and not, take all of his fingers off with the lightsaber.
Which I think is a missed opportunity. One thing we established about Trandoshans later in canon is that they can regrow limbs, and any opportunity to do that is always fun.
Are we still Comics Code at this point, though? We sure are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because you think about it, Luke has never really like done somebody in with a lightsaber in this comic.
That's true. We've never seen him like lopping heads off.
No, I mean not that we would even now, but not even hands or anything. We're really keeping this, which I will say is a thing about this. Like this is also very G.I. Joe in that everyone's shooting here, but we don't see these blaster impacts like killing anyone per se.
No, we see either our main characters shooting and then we see the bad guys on the ground or getting hit by random blasters from off page. We never see like the 1-to-1 really.
Yeah, we never see like Lando just ice a dude here, which is what I want.
Because you're a bloodthirsty maniac, John.
I love it. But I will say, Star Wars is, I mean, look, you know, especially at this point, we have yet to have Lucas fuck with anything. This is a franchise where Han Solo just shot Greedo. You know, just took him out. I mean, it's fitting with the franchise. There's a lot of killing in Star Wars. It's not bloody, but it happens.
Yeah. Look, our first introduction to like lightsabers really is when Obi-Wan lops off a guy's arm.
Yeah, and it's rad. Rad as hell. And that shuts, I will say, that shuts that problem down.
Yeah.
Nobody's fucking with them after that. Yeah. Although I will say I've always had that bit about like why is his arm so bloody on the ground?
Because the species something blood vessel something.
There you
aliens.
go. There's always an answer in a book or a role-playing guide.
Because the Aqualish don't cauterize like humans do.
Now here's the thing where when we turn the page here, we see a lot of this blaster fires beating it impacts with Cheeto in the carbonite. He's like, watch it, guys. Now here's a good question. Could you kill him?
I mean, yes. Here's the thing with freezing people in carbonite. For all they know, until they unfreeze him, he could already be dead.
Because that is the thing. They don't know if Han, right? I mean, when they freeze Han, they don't know if they freeze Han in Empire to test the process for Luke Skywalker. They make that expressly clear because they don't know what's going to happen.
Well, and there's this whole idea that like the longer you're stuck in carbonite, the more damage it's going to do to your system staying in there. It's why like Han is blind when he comes out of the slab in Jedi. But Luke brings up the good point here of like, well, he is frozen in carbonite. He's probably about as safe as he could be until we refreeze him.
It's not going to get any worse, right? Like,
right? Yeah,
as it gets.
He's at least immune to blaster fire while frozen.
Yeah, I was just thinking that as it was hitting this, and he's like, "Watch it, man! My frozen friend is here."
We do know that there's like a readout or like a control system on the side of these slabs because that's how Leia gets Han out, and that's how they check his vitals in Empire.
Yeah.
So like presumably if you hit that, the person frozen might be totally effed, but I'm not sure.
I mean, look, carbonite is pretty fast and loose in the world of Star Wars.
Well, according to Wikipedia, freezing people in carbonite is a combination of liquefying the carbonite and then mixing it with Tabana gas to create this rapid freezing.
Well, we're going to talk about it later because we're going to get pretty goofy later with some carbonite stuff in this.
Oh yeah, for sure. Anyway, speaking of goofy, Orange Bosk has his arm trapped in a wall.
Yeah, they appear to imply that he rushes at Luke. Luke leaps up in the air, and the force that Bosk was running with was so great that he goes into the wall.
Right, and then he's stuck momentarily because he shouts at IG-88 to do something, you stupid clutch of circuits.
Once again, pretty sitcom-y.
Oh, yeah.
This is all very slapsticky. And once again, I guess there's some. It looks like Danny is killing somebody maybe here on this panel.
Oh yeah, no, she's shooting the hell out of some guy who's running away. So she's shooting him in the back.
And Lando is straight up just missing a guy.
Yeah, though this is while he's saying like, looks like that takes care of these bounty hunters.
Yeah, that'll teach him. And then, what does IG-88 do upon Bosk prompting? He lets out a eep.
Thankfully, John's mic cut out there because you're not hearing the long, high-pitched whine he just made. But imagine that in all capital E's.
It's a bunch of, capital letter E's, which imply that he's emanating some sort of alarm sound.
Yeah, and everyone's clutching their ears and going, "Oh, it hurts, turn it off." But what it
Yeah.
actually does is it alerts more bounty hunters who were outside.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, where it's just like Bosk and IG-88 have as many bounty hunters at their call as the story needs.
Which I think is fine in terms of goons and or minions.
Well, they do really make it clear that, like, there's just a bunch of scumbags on this planet.
I mean, yeah, we sort of established that like something about this planet attracts a bunch of real dirtbags.
Yeah, I do like the one guy who comes in here who looks like he just came from an Eyes Wide Shut party.
With the mask over half his face.
Yeah, but him just going, "What do you want?"
Well, I like the guy in the like middle right panel who is just Biclops from He-Man.
He straight up is. Yep. I also, keen-eyed viewers might notice, is that Doctor Doom back there? Look at the green hood.
With the purple and the green. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. There's a nose. Dr. Doom doesn't have a nose on his mask.
That's true. But that's the guy that's just got a hold of Danny's hair.
All right. So we've got Luke and Rick getting out of there. Meanwhile, we've got Danny and Lando getting dogpiled by a bunch of these goons.
And for those not watching visually, just a reminder, it is Rick, R-I-K. So it's a space Rick.
Which is weird because originally when we introduced him, it was R-I-C. Then it was R-I-C-K.
They do not know what the name of this character is. They know it's Rick, but spelling...
Does it? We should probably keep track of this. Does it depend on who's saying his name?
Ooh, you were being very generous with the idea that there might be consistency in here at all, because I think it's just they don't know or care.
Anyway, it's Rick Duel. We don't have to care about how his name is spelled.
I can't wait for his spinoff comic.
That hasn't happened yet. But
here's the thing. Now it absolutely would.
You've manifested it, yes.
Yeah. I would not be surprised if he showed up in that Bounty Hunters comic that Marvel has.
I will say he has shown up a couple of times in the new continuity of Marvel Comics, but only in like one-shot, like short story compilations.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because not in anything I've read, or at least not possibly in anything I've read that, made any kind of impact.
Yeah, he's shown up in like 5 or 6 page like short stories that are inside compilations.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
But he has shown up a couple of times in the new
continuity. They do never forget anything.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, anyway, all right. So they're getting out of there. Yes, Rick and Luke have escaped. And of course, Luke is like, "Hey, but the rest of our friends didn't." And Rick is like, "Leave him behind."
Well, Rick is kind of got his head on straight here, because he's like, if we head back now, we're just going to get captured too. If we run now, we can formulate a plan to get our friends out of there.
Right. Yes.
Whereas Luke's like, screw that. I'm going back in there regardless of the danger. I'm not caring about myself. I'm caring about my friends.
That's on brand for him,
Yeah, that's hothead Luke.
Yeah. Luke is a real, act first, think later kind of guy.
Totally. Whereas Rick Duel is our Han Solo replacement. It has to be like, look, kid, we got to figure this out before we just go.
It really does. I said this last week, and it's so true about the whole character of Rick Duel's introduction is just, we just need somebody to voice the Han Solo opinion, right?
Yeah,
like, the thing is,
100%.
there's a missing element of this comic, and Lando is cut from a similar cloth as Han Solo, but is very different, actually. So we really do need just a straight-up Han Solo replacement, and we haven't invented Dash Rendar yet.
Because if this comic had come out in the late 90s, this would have been a Dash Rendar.
Rick Duel is totally a proto-Dash Rendar. He even kind of looks like Dash Rendar.
Shoulder pads and everything, yeah.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if they were just like, hey, wasn't there already... Can we... You know what? I like those shoulder pads.
But the name Rick Duel is maybe a little too much, so what if we called him Dash Rendar instead?
Yeah, that's way more reasonable. Oh God, it's all very silly, and also there's so many just naked attempts at creating alternate Han Solos.
Oh sure. So they're sneaking away, and Rick is even saying to the point, we'll come up with a plan, something sneaky and good. Leave stuff like that to me. It's my specialty.
Mm-hmm. And so Luke goes, all right, I agree. But first I'm going to call our friends back on the Falcon, because lest we forget, Chewie and R2 are still on the Millennium Falcon.
And last they talked to Chewie, they were like, hey, Chewie, we found Han.
Yeah.
But you don't go anywhere because you're too obvious as a Wookiee.
Surely he didn't, leap before he looked on anything with that information, right? That doesn't sound like the Chewbacca we know. Uh-oh.
On this page, we also reestablished some stuff about the locals here, the Stanaxes. They're those like gargoyle-looking guys, the purple guys.
Yeah, they're very ill thought out.
Well, we know that they're angry. We know they don't like outsiders, but we also know that so long as the outsiders don't mess with them, they basically don't interfere with what's going on the planet.
We know that due to this exposition dump from Rick Duel, right? Where it's just like,
yeah,
yeah man, they, as long as there's no trouble, they do. But also, even he's kind of guessing because these people don't talk, really. They just
hiss. Yeah.
Yes.
We also get Rick's motivations here, which is actually kind of refreshing for this book of just like, oh, this guy's going to spell out like why he's actually helping the heroes.
I will give Mary Jo Duffy this. She tries to make Rick Duel a character.
Yeah. Because his justification for going against the Empire now, because remember, in our flashback issue, Rick Duel was kind of playing both sides against the middle.
Yeah. But now he's not full on with the rebellion, but he's at least aiding the rebellion. I do like the reason.
Pro-rebellion, he's anti-empire.
Yes, it is an enemy of my enemy is my friend sort of situation, because in his explanation, he's like, the Empire will make me doing crime harder.
Which, okay.
Yeah, the more power they have, the less I can do crime.
And look, that's not a terrible justification when it comes to like a scumbag character in Star Wars.
Because actually, a lot of the scumbag characters do end up sort of at least somewhat siding with the rebellion throughout Star Wars.
Yeah. We have that Slicer character, Benicio del Toro's character in Last Jedi.
Well, he does play both sides against them.
But he does both, yeah, because he ends up betraying the Resistance to the First Order again.
And that's actually one of my favorite things in Last Jedi is that character, because I do like the Han or Lando character who is really actually a scumbag. Because of course the thing about Han and Lando is they do just end up being heroes. Right. That guy is like, oh no, he truly has no belief system.
Mm-hmm. It is just wherever the credits are coming in.
Yeah, I thought that was very good.
But anyway, Luke calls Chewie, but nobody answers on the Falcon.
Chewie, hello.
R2, are you there?
And of course, Chewie and R2 have already waded out into the city of was it? Is it Stennis?
Stennis. Yeah,
Stennis. And I'm sorry, folks. Have you ever wanted to see Chewbacca turned into Scooby-Doo? Because it happens in this comic.
Okay, who is the Scooby and who is the Shaggy in the Chewbacca and R2 duo here?
Boop 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 boop.
I think Chewbacca's the Shaggy here.
I think he does. You would think logic and just visually, you would think it would go more to Chewie, but I think you're right. The way he is Hanna-Barbera tiptoeing.
Yeah, imagine. Okay, what is the cartoon vision you have in your head of character sneaking? It is elbows up, hands out in front, high stepping, right? Like that's the sneaking cartoon animation. This is what we see Chewbacca doing on the streets of Stennis.
Chewbacca fan, I'm actually offended by this. It is such a betrayal of his character.
I find it so funny.
I mean, I find it funny, but it is like and especially in the past. But I imagine reading this and being like, "The fuck happened to Chewbacca?"
And then the next panel of Chewie's head coming out horizontally from around a corner, and R2's head coming out horizontally around the corner.
And Chewie's got his eyes like wide, like
looking around, sneaking around. Yeah, it's full on Scooby-Doo.
Like you can just hear that tinkling piano.
But this is where I want to give this book credit, and this is where I want to like really cement. Okay, Mary Jo Duffy has taken over this book. In previous writers, we would have had chock-a-block of narration of, and the massive Wookiee, his frame lumbering through the streets of Stenos, tries to sneak his way about, determined to find his friend Han Solo.
No question. Absolutely, that's true. I like her restraint in the writing. I wish the art had similar restraint. That's the thing that's kind of, it's just like, man, can't we get the writing and the art to work together? No, they continue to fight each other here.
So Chewie and R2 sneaking through the city. On the next page, we get more of them sneaking. They see the entrance to where Lando and Danny are still being held captive.
You get a head turn and a wide-eyed "huh" from Chewbacca, which I called out.
Pweet from R2.
Yeah. Everyone's favorite comedy duo, Chewbacca and R2, are back at it again.
Honestly, I wish we saw more of this combo because I think there is a fun combination of recklessness between the two of them.
Agreed. I just wish they weren't full-on cartoon characters, but yeah, in concept, I agree.
Because they are confronted by one of the Stenaxis. These are the purple gargoyle guys.
For sure, yeah. And this is... now Chewbacca turns back more into the Chewbacca we know.
Because this thing hisses at him, so Chewbacca gurs back, then this thing hurrs at him, and Chewbacca gronks back.
I do kind of like that this ends up being respect, game recognized game.
But R2, not having time for this pissing contest, is going to go beep, 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 blurp, and leads Chewie away.
Absolutely. And there they go. R2's like, what are you doing? Why are you yelling? Why are you yelling at a gargoyle creature?
So let's cut back to Danny and Lando being led around this mercenary base by Man-at-Arms from He-Man.
There's a lot of cartoon characters in this thing.
I'm just saying, the green stripy pants and the furry vest and the helmet, this is Man-at-Arms.
100%. I'd know him anywhere. And now Danny has moved her horniness towards Lando, which I will say is a more receptive, target of that affection.
Because she's saying, a big strong man to take care of me and protect me. And Lando's like, oh, well, I'm glad you feel that way.
Hey, don't mind if I do. But he is also going like, look, honey, here's the thing. This is all about money, and Lando's got the credit.
But unfortunately, Lando, lest we forget, is a known quantity on this planet because as he's starting to formulate a plan, he is shut down by everyone's favorite Baron Harkonnen knockoff, Drebble.
Yeah, is he ever? He all he needs is the red hair, and we're there.
And he's lurking in this corridor, filing down his coke nail, I guess.
It is such a ridiculous villain move to be like, this is a real Casanova Frankenstein move. Hey, for those who know.
Yeah. For those who get that reference.
Yeah. And if you haven't, do yourself a favor, watch Mystery Men. It's
Mystery Men's great. Yeah. Anyway, Drebble is here being like, guess what? I'm the one who put the bounty out on you, Calrissian. And once we're done here, I'll get to bring you back to my home planet and use you as decorations.
Yeah, I don't know how this Scarface side character wandered into the, Star Wars adventure, but here he is.
He was just there.
Yeah.
Because,
kill you.
In the last issue, it was Drebble recognized Calrissian in just a random bar saying, hey, that guy swindled me out of some money one time. A totally reasonable thing to happen to Lando.
I mean, agreed. It's just that there's not a lot wrong with the story here. There's a lot of weird, very, once again, cartoonish, silly execution of it. Like they did, Lando is like, oh, surely no one knows us in this bar. Is that Lando Calrissian? Like, oh, Drebble. Anyway,
Man-at-Arms says, hey, move it along, you two.
Yeah. And then this book gets a little weird.
What, you mean when Danny wants to try to turn and get all sexy on Man-at-Arms?
Yeah, is basically willing to provide what I can only assume are sexual favors in exchange for her own freedom.
she does say,
kids here, Johnny. I got kids here.
She says, "Oh, please help me. I don't want to die. I'll do anything you say." Cut to new panel, hard up on her face with tears coming out of her eyes. Anything.
I mean, you don't have to work very hard to figure out what that means.
Especially when the guy then pushes her off saying, "Get away from me. I've heard all about you Zeltrons, and I don't want to go rolling with a red-skinned freak."
Yikes.
Big yikes.
I mean, let's see. We got a mixture of slut-shaming and racism here that I just can't believe.
Well, but this seems like it was all just a ploy to get this guy to let his guard down, because Danny immediately says, "Then we'll just have to dance instead," as she kicks this guy's head off.
No, I think this was a tactic, whether he, was into it or not. She had a move to get right. I mean, it was definitely the case. But I just, the idea that, like, whoa, that's pretty dark and very adult. And they would argue that it's all implied, so... But I don't
know. The guy, like, straight up says, "I don't want to go rolling with any red-skinned freak." And, like, the implication's all there.
Yeah. Rolling in the hay, you mean?
Roll in the hay.
Yep.
For those who know.
For those who know. This is a very genre comedy-heavy episode of the show.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah. So, and she does do the most. I mean, it looks like they might as well have just drawn over a Black Widow panel of her kicking this guy.
It's a high kick straight to the head. His head disappears in some Kirby crackle, and then he's on the ground unconscious.
Which I will say is very. You would think with my complaints about the cartoonishness of this, I wouldn't like this. I do really like when people just explode into impact in that Kirby crackle way. That's very old comic book that I get a kick out of.
Yeah, got kick.
Waka waka.
Waka waka. So they knock this guy out. Lando's like, "Hey, good job. Time to grab this gun and ski-daddle." When, of course, Drebel, who was literally right behind them, why did they not wait till they at least went around a corner?
Yeah.
Shouts out and says, "Stop them."
Yeah, and then Lando goes, "Oh, forget the gun. Oh, let's get out of here."
So now they're being chased yet again.
I do like that we really get a look at Drebel in like he's borrowed costuming from a funny thing happened on the way to the forum, but little robe.
Yeah.
There's a lot of leg showing too, also on that henchman he's got.
Look, Stenos is a hot planet. You got to keep it breezy.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even want to put any more thought to that. Oh, the draft, Lando. The draft.
Yeah. So they start running. Outside, Chewie and R2 are lurking around, and they overhear some guards talking about some new prisoners that just got brought in.
New prisoners, yeah.
Because they hear the gunshots inside, and the guards are like, "Oh, sounds like those new prisoners are giving the boss some trouble."
Yeah, and who's this guy he's talking to?
Some kind of masked alien fella.
There's a number of alien races in Star Wars that are in like mass or rebreathers.
Yeah, and I love a good sci-fi setting that does not assume everybody breathes oxygen.
Agreed. This is one of the first characters that we've seen in this that actually feels like they belong in Star Wars. Yeah. Anyway, so we've got basically all our parties are coming together for this climax here.
Right, because right above where Chewie and R2 are lurking, we see Rick and Luke moving across the rooftops.
Yep. And so everyone is we go up to Rick and Luke, and they're doing a sneak around.
They're doing a sneak around. They're doing some Splinter Cell stuff up here. They're Sam Fishering their way into this building.
Rick is so begging for a spinoff. I'm pretty cool. You might as well turn and go, pretty cool, right? You probably want to read about my adventures every month.
Yeah, I'm a sneaky dirtbag who's always out to get one up on the system. Come on, guys.
Hey, Return of the Jedi, you maybe haven't seen it yet. We don't know what's going to happen to Han Solo. Rick Duel's always here to take his place. Just saying.
Oh, Rick Duel.
Make sure you, next time you're at Macy's, you make sure to buy that Rick Duel action figure that definitely is coming out.
No one's buying the Rick Duel action figure.
No, that's sitting on it. Was that? Yeah, it was on the last episode. We looked, and you have to buy someone's custom made. They never made a Rick Duel.
They kit bashed a Rick Duel.
But that said, in the last wave of Black Series, Dash Rendar was there, my friend.
And Jackson's been an action figure a few times. We've had comic book characters make that
By the
transition.
way, we love Jackson. Did you see who's voicing Jackson in the new Lego Star Wars?
No.
Ben Schwartz.
Perfect. No notes.
I saw that and I went, done. I love that choice so much.
You did it. A+.
Yeah, I saw a thing where they were announcing new characters being added to whatever the Lego Star Wars thing they're working on is, and they announced the voice actors, and I went, oh, I couldn't imagine a better choice than a Ben Schwartz.
This is not to belittle that decision, because I think it's perfect, but has this really cemented Ben Schwartz's now animal voiceover guy?
Yeah, and yes, I think so.
Between
and you know
DuckTales, Sonic, and this.
I'm okay with that. I got no problem with that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy is the name of...
Rebuild the Galaxy. That first Rebuild the Galaxy was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, they're adding Jackson now, and Ben Schwartz will be,
Good and cool.
Yeah. So...
It gave us Darth Jar Jar. I have no complaints.
No, I do think that that stuff is... They're having a lot of fun. It's not my personal thing, maybe, but I do like that, that's a fun place to do Darth Jar Jar and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we do have another gargoyle swooping overhead. We
just have to establish that they're swooping. Just make sure we know they're swooping.
And then I gotta say, a lot is forgiven of what I've said about the portrayal of Chewie by Chewie just grabbing one of these things out of the sky.
Because on this next page, Chewie, a haired Wookiee fist reaches up and grabs one of these things' legs and drags it down.
I mean, is this one of the most badass things we've seen him do in this comic? That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, especially as this thing hisses at him. Chewie lets out a hurrah, and then R2 joins in with a topee.
And then R2 helps him by grabbing onto this thing's wing. And now the two of them are pulling it to the ground. I love it.
What this is setting up later will be one of the silliest things we've read, but I kind of love it.
It's silly in a way of we just have to end this thing, right? So we're just going to get a quick explanation and you're like, okay, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't refute it. Anyway, so when we cut back to Lando and Danny looking for a way out of wherever they are.
They're still trapped in the base. They're running around. They're free, but they're looking to escape, and they go through the only open door they can find. And unfortunately, that leads them straight to a carbonite freezing chamber.
Can I say that I like, Lando is disheveled because his shirt is untucked?
And he's not wearing a cape.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, everything's wrong here.
Yeah, look, he's having a bad day.
Yeah, and they do reach, they've unwittingly ended up right in the hands of Bosk and IG-88, who were just chilling by this carbonite freezing chamber.
Yeah, because as Bosk says, "Step right in, Mr. Calrissian, and the lady. Don't you think we've been clever? Once we realized you were going to be tiresome and spend the whole night running around looking for an exit, we decided it would be simpler to let you find your way here."
Bosk is 10 moves ahead of everybody.
3D chess.
He's at full Bond villain status at this point.
He might as well be stroking a white-haired cat.
It really does have. He's just like, just as we suspected. It is hard not to give him that.
I'm going to, no matter what I do.
Right, yeah, it is, but it is just as I suspected. You would end up here, of all places,
This Bosk is basically Cobra Commander.
Yes, that's right, Joes! Anyway, also, is Bosk looking a little too cute in this close-up, though?
He's got a smirk. He also has ears. Again, look at the image of Bosk from
way off.
Empire Strikes Back. Why does he have ears?
He's way more dinosaur-looking in the,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very reptilian and hideous. And here, they look like they should be selling a plush of this Bosk in Disneyland.
I'm going to let some other fandoms leak in for a while. Not that we ever do that on this show, but
not on here. We are laser focused.
in the Godzilla franchise, something they did with the design of Godzilla over the course of the 70s and into the 80s was give Godzilla more mammalian features. So something you'll notice with Godzilla's design is in movies where he is supposed to be a little bit more family friendly or a friend to the children or what have you, he will have like little ears or more mammalian, like a protrusion of his mouth that kind of like looks like canine in Origin. And the movies where he's more decidedly a bad guy, he's more reptilian.
That's more my Godzilla. I don't love the family-friendly Godzilla so much, but I have seen some of those designs, and it is a little like, ooh, I get it, but that's where they can sell the plushes.
Sure. And I think the, like, legendary Monsterverse design is a good medium ground of that, where it's like Godzilla's always more lizardy than not.
Definitely.
But this Bosk is the more like, this is Bosk, friend of children, with ears and a big nose and a kind of quirky smile.
Kids, don't you want a Bosk to take home with you? IG-88, though, is still just a big, tall, skinny droid.
Yeah, well, there's only so much you can change there. Anyway, they're gonna throw Danny in because they want to test the freezing system again to make sure it works before they put Lando in there.
And then this is a real example of what comics can do. We can just turn the page and Luke Skywalker has sailed into the room.
Where did he come from? How did he get here? Don't worry about it. He's kicking somebody in the head.
He's got one guy in a headlock while kicking another guy in the head.
Thus freeing Danny.
By the way, the guy he's kicking in the head totally looks like a rejected henchman from Power Man and Iron Fist.
He also a little bit looks like, what is that Marvel character? 3D Man?
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah, with the yellow and the green.
It took us, what is this, 97 episodes to bring up 3D Man? Finally.
Yeah, look, that's there are certain depths within the Marvel canon that you and I are both familiar enough with, but not familiar enough to go like, well, we can't consistently reference 3D Man, but it will come up eventually.
I feel like, though, we certainly haven't read every Marvel issue. We have a cursory knowledge of even the stupidest corners of the Marvel universe enough to reference a 3D Man.
Well, it's because when you enter comic books in an era where, especially at Marvel, when they have a crossover event like Civil War, where everybody got an issue of their Civil War crossover, or Secret Invasion for that matter. So when 3D Man becomes a very important character to the Skull Kill Crew team after the events of Secret Invasion, suddenly I know about 3D Man.
True, yeah. Oh, God. I just looked him up again. He's so dumb. He's the dumbest looking character.
And also, somebody is going to come at us being like, 3D Man is an integral part of the Marvel's universe, and I will not have you.
Roy Thomas, who created him, is going to come at us.
We've probably besmirched Roy Thomas plenty on this show already.
We've already put on Roy Thomas's ass. 84-year-old Roy Thomas is going to be like, you sons of bitches. Don't you know what I did for Marvel?
Created 3D Man, damn it.
I sure did. Oh, man. When's he
Anyway, Luke shows up, and unfortunately, Bosk has the reaction of, oh, good.
Yeah. That's a bad reaction from him, because it's going to go bad for you, Bosk.
Yeah, because everyone's kind of like, hey, what's going on? Especially...
I do love the series of panels of, oh, good, says Bosk, and Lando says, oh, no, and Danny says, oh, Luke, and IG-88 says nothing, which I love.
Luke being like, what's everyone standing around for? Rick, come on, back me up.
Yeah. And then, of course, he's unfortunately at gunpoint from a couple of goons.
Yep. Including what looks like Captain Cold and, again, a version of 3D Man.
I just love their commitment to, like, we can't just have, like, guys. All these henchmen need their own looks.
That's the artist having fun, man. That's Tom Palmer having some fun here.
And that's something that, particularly this era of comic books, that's how it works, you know?
I'm assuming it's the inker here because like Ron Friends, who's the actual like penciler, who knows what he's actually like putting in the background of these with his drawings. So it might be Ron Friends, but like a lot of those background details end up getting filled in by the inker a lot of the time.
Right. Yeah, it's just wild is what it is. And I love it. It's once again, comics from this era, as we've talked about, like I don't expect, very grounded Star Wars stories. I do expect goofiness, and this is goofy as all get out.
Right. Especially on the next page when we have everyone shoved into the carbonite freezing pit. They're just going to do them all in one big batch, which raises so many questions about exactly what the carbonite freezing process would do if you froze a bunch of people all at once.
It kind of just freezes them. The one shot we see is they're all sort of just frozen like Mr. Freeze hit them.
Yeah. But anyway, on the panel right after that, we have a a cavalcade of spears impaling people.
Yeah, because the what are these? What do they call the people who live there? Oh, the Stenaxes. Yeah, the Stenaxes. Yeah, they show up with Chewbacca.
Yeah,
who does backhand both IG-88 and Bosk in the same move.
Because Bosk and IG-88 are trying to get out of here as everyone's being impaled by spears. And yeah, Chewbacca just comes in with a absolute monster of a roundhouse fist that smashes both of them backwards and then unleashes with his bowcaster.
I love it so much. It's so insane.
I love the middle right panel of this next page because we have this guy in the foreground, one of the goons being like, a Wookiee! No one said anything about having to fight a Wookiee with this look of absolute panic.
Not a Wookiee of all things it could be!
Meanwhile, in the background, that said Wookiee has a guy in each hand and is holding them over his head.
This is this guy's worst nightmare. No one said, I never took this job for Wookiees. They should have warned me.
So yeah, the Stenaxes and Chewbacca are absolutely destroying all of these goons.
I mean, then it appears that Chewie is just hucking dudes into the carbonite chamber.
As they plead for their lives.
Oh, please, why? And then somebody is very fast on that button because they go in there and then whoosh.
Yeah, and it does, like, as Chewie kind of like looks over the carnage he has wrought, it just does look like guys just frozen in place as opposed to being set into those slabs.
I kind of wish we just didn't see it, like you just saw Chewie look insatisfied because it looks silly and it raises so many questions if they're just like frozen as statues. Yeah. You're like, wait, what? Why would that? Okay. Because they're dead, right? I mean, these guys are dead.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Chewie has murdered once again.
Yeah. I'm shocked we don't have Chewie lift one of these frozen guys up and use him as a club to beat another guy to death.
Oh, God, that would just be too awesome. And the Comics Code might have a problem with that.
Well, speaking of awesome.
Yeah.
On this next panel, we have Rick Duel being like, how did you get them to work with you? Because the Stenaxes, like, famously don't want to work with anybody. And then we get one of my favorite panels that we've read in this whole book, which is just R2 explaining the situation while standing over flaming corpses filled with spears.
Comics Code was fine with this.
I love R2 in the midst of this carnage, just being like, well, now you see.
And that plays out as Barut Bleep Puit Puit Puit. And they're like, oh, got it.
Thankfully, Luke understands R2.
Yeah.
And says, Chewie, we were sorry we disappointed you getting your hopes up. And, yeah, basically R2 is explaining that, because on the next page...
It's the next page, Rick Duel going, yes. The only thing the Stenaxes understand is violence, and this Wookiee speak a good violence.
So Chewie looks like he's going to be mad at first, but then he brings in Luke and Lando into a hug because he's really just worried about his friends.
Of course, that's always Chewie's thing. And then Rick Duel is automatically off like, if that's how the Stenaxes roll, I bet I could turn them into an army that would be unstoppable. Yes. Perhaps something that could be chronicled in my own comic book series.
Yeah. It's Rick Among the Stynaxes, a new book from Marvel Comics in 1984.
Hey man, these Star Wars movies are drying up. We got to do something to chart the future.
Stynaxes in the mist.
Yeah. And so they all take off in the Millennium Falcon. Well, not Rick Duel.
No, Rick Duel stays behind to scheme.
Yeah, to scheme about his Stynaxes army.
And Lando even says, "What do you think, Luke? Will Rick ever get the Stynaxes to work for him?" Luke says, "I kind of doubt it."
Yeah, no, he was ripped apart. I need a thing. Days later, he was torn apart by Stynaxes. But oh boy, this thing ends like a fucking Three's Company episode.
Because who's this who says from off panel, "Me too, but you can't imagine how hard it is to make Rick abandon one of his schemes until it actually blows up on him." And everyone turns and goes, "Huh?"
Yeah. And it's Danny who's immediately, as always, just got her hands all over Luke and says, "So I decided now would be a good time to take a vacation with you." And he's like, Danny? And Lando and Chewie, for those not watching on YouTube, look to camera, being the audience, and go, "Oh boy.
Chewie face palms.
We've been waiting for you." Executive producer Norman Lear.
Freeze frame credits, yeah.
I was like, oh my God. And next issue, Lost Bane.
Lost Bane.
Lost Bane. Yeah, I also read it as Lash Bane initially, but it's Lost Bane, which means nothing to me.
It's a planet. We'll get there. Anyway, Danny's here. Strap in. She's going to be here for a while.
Also, I'm looking at the cover for the next issue, and I'm not happy.
And
because
look,
the Three's Company antics continue on the cover.
100%. But, like, John, if you'll please, like, we read this digitally on Marvel Unlimited. They're not a sponsor, but they're a okay product.
They're good in some forms and not in others, is what I'll say.
Yeah, but please look at the cover of issue 107, the last issue of this series that we'll be covering.
Let me take a look here. Hold on.
And tell me which character you see on that issue
cover.
Oh,
no, it's not going to be... Oh, no.
Don't. Oh, she's here for the long haul, John.
Oh, how could she be? She's a horrible character.
Well, guess what? We got plenty of time to really fill out all of that horribleness with character details and background. We all said Ahsoka was a terrible character when she was first introduced, and look how far we've come.
Oh, she's on 106. She's not on 107.
Okay, well, anyway.
But yeah, 106 is, and let's say there's a lot I hate about that cover.
And that's still Mary Jo Duffy with us till the end there.
Oh, Mary Jo, what you doing?
She's got her self-insert character, I guess. No, that can't be right.
I hope not. God, I hope not. Yeah. Oh boy.
But yeah, so what do you think of this first story arc that we've gone through now with Mary Jo Duffy? This is the Stenos arc, I guess we can call it.
It's a real mixed bag there, Gunny. Real mixed
bag. Between the flashback that really didn't establish anything other than Rick Duel and Danny.
There's, as I was saying earlier, there's good ideas and some real goofy execution in here. That's what I would say.
Yeah,
I think she's got the right idea. I think she's got stories that could definitely be decent Star Wars stories, but the era of comics is getting in the way for sure.
Yeah, I do think despite some of the silliness we have in here about the actual like story execution, she's got the character voices down.
I think for the most part, yes.
Yeah, obviously we haven't seen her do Leia very much yet.
Yeah, and I'm a little worried. Let me ask you this. Has anyone really written Leia very well in this comic? I will say she's often the worst portrayed of the main Star Wars characters.
John, are you saying that a bunch of male writers from the 70s and 80s haven't been able to write Princess Leia very well?
Yeah, she has a lot of breakdowns. She's very worried about who's dating who. There's a lot of stay away from my man, who may also be my brother. It's just she's either totally bloodthirsty rebellion warrior, or she's the most emotionally unstable woman.
And unfortunately, that is maybe another example of this era in comics getting in the way of good characterization. Because I could say the same thing about Carol Danvers in this period. I could say the same thing about Wonder Woman in this period. And look, there are some good periods of both those characters in the 70s and 80s.
No question.
Especially when those characters are used in, say, I don't know, Avengers crossovers where they're impregnated by an interdimensional being, and then everyone just says, well, it's probably what you wanted.
I mean, obviously, the most famous Bitches Be Crazy is Jean Grey.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's executed the most successfully, but it's still got its problems.
Yeah. Sure, absolutely. And the same could be true for like Madeline Pryor going full Goblin Queen.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, absolutely. Claremont did a lot of good and, is still a guy of his generation.
Yeah, there's no getting away from it sometimes. So, yeah the intense action-oriented sexbot that is Danny is going to be with us for a while. And that is just, again, a product of the era that we have to take with a grain of salt as we're reading these books, like so many things.
It's just such a weird addition, though. Like how overtly sexual she is just very strange in this context.
It's interesting because, again, we're dealing with a Star Wars that hasn't really dealt with much in the way of romance up to this point. We have, obviously, the building of Leia and Han's relationship in Empire.
So, like, 1930s screwball banter. It's not... There's a sexuality to it, but it's not overt. You know what I mean? It is just like da da da. I mean that's what Kasdan always excelled at, right? And he does it in Raiders of the Lost Ark as well. It is a very old-fashioned idea of like rom-com kind of stuff. The
as
idea
opposed to like raunchy Golden Girls style stuff.
Yeah. The sexiest show that was ever on TV.
I mean,
I'm not kidding. In some ways. Hey man. Blanche Devereaux got what she wanted, man. That's all I'm saying. No, but it is a thing where even today, I mean, look at the reaction to Andor bringing in any kind of complex discussion of sexuality and sexual issues. Weirds people out. It's not a franchise that deals a lot in sex. In romance, yes, but not in sex.
Yeah, or like erotic expressions of sexuality, because I mean, this isn't like Luke and Danny aren't banging just yet, but
no, but she is, that is her character is. We've even talked about this, bringing that into this innocent Luke Skywalker's like,
yeah, and obviously in Return of the Jedi, you're gonna have Leia in Slave Leia,
but that's portrayed as sex slavery, right? It's portrayed as a negative, even though obviously that's why I'm always weirded out by how much of like a hot memory it is for people that I'm like, yeah, it's pretty messed up though too.
Yeah. But you can't not acknowledge that a lot of like teenagers saw that movie and auga.
Yeah, I mean, it is not real, which helps. For sure. I think I was talking about. I think me being a kid helped put it in a proper context. That when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh no, not hey now."
Fair enough.
So I still kind of carry a lot of that with me, where I'm like, "Yeah, that was kind of messed up." Anyway, hey, if you want more of this kind of scintillating discussion, you should head over to our Patreon page. We're not talking about any of these issues, I don't think, but that's all right. There's plenty of other stuff we do talk about, though.
I think it's important that we create a space where we can talk about these sorts of facets of Star Wars, because, like, as a franchise as a whole,
we don't really mention this very often, but if you love us talking about outdated pop culture, over on our Patreon page, you can hear Gorgoni and I talk about the entirety of the Incredible Hulk television series from the 1970s. That's all in there.
Oh, is that still around? The Green Mile?
Oh, yeah. The Green Mile. All Green Mile episodes are archived over on our Patreon page. So you can head over to patreon.com/punchupent. That's punchupent. You get that plus tons of other exclusive content from all the shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network. We also greatly appreciate the support of our patrons who help, fund equipment and all kinds of stuff for the show. So
yeah, keeps the lights on. Keeps
It
us
sure
doing
does.
what we're doing.
Where's
Or
the
at
other
least it
place
helps.
help us out, Gurgani?
YouTube.com/@PunchUpEntertainment. Another great way of supporting us. While you're over there, please like, comment, subscribe. Letting us know in the comments below the kinds of sexual awakenings you had around Star Wars.
Yeah.
Or not.
Let me say, if you're inclined to do that, think before you post it. You know?
But while you're there, join us with all of our shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network. We've got Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters. We've got the IP Squad. We've got Material Components. We've got all sorts of stuff, including the YouTube exclusive stuff like Punch Up Plays. Elliot Lewis and I getting into that second Mass Effect, our dark middle chapter. A game that it is the Empire Strikes Back of Mass Effect in a lot of ways, and we're having some good times over there.
Nice. Yeah, check that out. Make sure you ring that bell for notifications.
Absolutely. But I think that is going to do it for this episode. As always, I have been Mike Ergoni.
I'm John Campbell.
And remember, may the panel be with you.